Today's guest is another great example of someone who has successfully traveled that non-traditional journey. Although he spent 23 years of his career at the same company, he morphed himself from software engineer to sales engineer to ultimately head of global partners and chief evangelist for his firm's product offering. I'm very excited to introduce Jeremy Starcher of Moving Forward. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Ron, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Unintentionally, you're part of a group of coaches that I've interviewed for this series. And it's interesting, all of you have become entrepreneurs. You've used this coaching vocation and passion as a path to a new career journey. And can you walk me through that journey that I mentioned in my brief intro? And how did you get to where you are today, leading a coaching practice with your own proprietary methodology?
Yeah, it's certainly not something that I planned for. So it's not like I sat around when I was 20 years old thinking to myself, okay, at some point in time in my career, I'm going to become a coach and help people move forward. As a young man, I found myself in a situation where I went to school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Rather than continuing down that traditional path of go to college, finish that degree, get a job and go, I just went into the marketplace. I think the very first decision path that I took that was really important was when my wife and I had just started a family and we had decided that it didn't make sense for us both to be in the workplace. At the time, we needed both incomes to survive. What that did was it put me into a situation where I needed to go into work with an idea in my head and the value that I knew that I was creating and say, okay, this is a decision I want to make for my family and I need to make more money. So I boldly walked into the VP's room and said, hey, I know how valuable I am to you. I need to make more money. Ironically, I walked out with the new position and making more money, and it allowed Michelle to come home. What that taught me at a very early stage is that it is always in your best interest to understand the value that you're bringing to any organization or group that you're a part of. Your value realization is something that's on you. It's not on somebody else to recognize. It's nice when they recognize it. But if you don't fully believe in the value that you're bringing to an organization, you're going to find yourself in a wishy-washy pattern as you go throughout your career. So that was the first step that I think really underscored A, I've got the talent, B, I've got the drive, and C, I have the confidence to go in there and make things happen. Why is that important? Because as you mentioned, I spent 23 years at the same company. That is definitely not standard practice in today's world,
Yep.
especially in my field, which is technology, call center specifically. Typically, you're working your way through and you're getting promoted and you're moving from company to company. You're getting a lot of experience. I, for whatever reason, was on a different path. So when I started with the company, I was a software engineer, and that wasn't by trade, by the way. That was just me having genuine curiosity about how switches and databases work and allowed me to hack my way, if you will, into this job.